What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. We got Alan House. Good morning to you. Good morning to Amy, Andrew, Annie, Bill, Ben, Dragon. We got Keith, Lauren, Lucian, Marius. Good morning to Martina, Michael, Mike. We got Natalie. We got Rick. Good morning to you. Good morning to Tim, Virginia. All my people out in YouTube land. Daniel. Good morning. Sabine. Good morning. All my lurkers. This is not gonna say nothing all day. It's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button, but. Last final day in August. How how are you sitting for the month? Are you positive? Are you massively positive? Massively down? Kind of down? Break even? Where are you at? Time to review that plan. Time to look at those trades. Try to see where we could improve going into September. Andrew says, "Congrats on Baba." I didn't even see what happened with Baba. Oh, all right. Little gap up. Earnings. All right. Surprise missed the downside. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't even paying attention to it. It's the long term. You know, that's the beauty about the long term. You just things happen and you're like, oh, okay, I'll take it. But yeah, nice little move there. Otherwise, let's before we even get to the daily candle, let's go back a little bit. Let's see how this month treated us in the market overall. So we have April, still have that big massive hammer, emergency break, emergency panic, good breakout, started breaking pivots out in June. Smaller follow through month on July and then August, which we've seen some days that are like, oh, is this finally the top? I don't know. But now you got one, two, three, four, unless something happens crazy today to turn this big red monthly candle to a red one. That looks like we are about to close fourth month in a row bullish. Let's see if we have any other. One, two, three, four, five. We did it there. Five. One, two, three, four, five. All right. So it seems when we go bullish, we do it five times in a row. One, two, three, four, five. That's interesting. One, two, three, four, five. Ooh, that one we threw a little bonus month in six. All right. Well, it seems like we have the ability to go green for one more month. Big month coming up next this September. Obviously, markets close. U.S. markets close for any, especially international traders. We're not going to be here on Monday because the U.S. market will be closed. Then we have, I think, the 16th or 17th. I think the September 17th. We have Jerome Powell going to give us that very long-awaited rate cut, or no rate cut, or rate hike, or whatever he decides. But widely thought that we will probably get some kind of a rate cut. We'll see what that is, how much it is, if it happens at all, or what happens from now till then to change Jerome Powell's mind. But my question is, this is where I get a little concerned, little again tinfoil hat theory. 4 months in a row waiting for this rate cut to happen. Constantly, is it this month? Is it next month? Is it when is this? My question is, what happens when we actually get the rate cut? You gave it 4 months to get priced in. So I'm a little cautious going into September. Albert says sell the news. It works for biotechs. It works for Apple news conferences. I don't know why it can't work for the entire market. Yeah, but once we get the rate cuts, you're going to see a couple things happen. One is since all the rates down, you do have usually more risk on. I don't think we've seen in a time, at least recently, that I can remember that looks exactly like what we're about to walk into. We get risk on, which is good for stocks. We get treasuries. They short term at least should be lowering rates. That's good for stocks. You get better returns in the stock market than sitting on really almost interest-free money. And we'll probably still have some decent interest, I guess. You get housing pricing. I think we'll, even though mortgage rates come down, I think housing pricing goes up because demand goes up. All those people just sitting there waiting for those rates to come down. Uh, Tariffs, I think, is the other unknown element. So we haven't seen tariffs like we are, at least not recently, maybe ever. where you have the concern of is the companies eating the cost of inflation? If we go to Caterpillar, Caterpillar did report earnings today. I know I'm going to be a little all over the place today, but or they didn't have earnings, but they did put out a statement saying the last earnings that they put out was August 5th. But they put out a statement saying that they are starting to get a little squeezed by some of the tariffs. They're trying to keep the prices low, but they're eating the cost. If we start to see more and more companies come out like that, I think that's going to be a negative for the market, and I think we're going to be concerned. However, if you do have the rate cut, maybe if those companies could save some money on the interest payments, and I don't know how much debt Caterpillar does or has, but if they could save it, maybe that could help balance out the tariffs and we just move forward. So I don't know. I think September is going to be a little bit of a big old question mark. Historically, I think it's about 61% of the time if you are in a bull market, September or at least the first day of after Labor Day is bullish, and then you usually close higher, but historically, besides that, September is usually the weakest month of the year. So keep all that in mind. Set your positions how you want to. I don't know. I kind of want to get some puts out in the market for moving into to the day after Labor Day and kind of see them from there. But only a little bit of a gap down for today. So nothing too crazy in the markets. We'll go through the levels to the higher side. Tim says last time they cut the 10-year rate went up. Yeah. It's all varied in the that was the first cut, or not the first cut, but that was the last cut was good, but we're getting to a point where now you have so many more elements kind of built in, and the market is just blindly going, give us rate cuts so we could go up. I think you go up on that day. I think it would be a positive day if we get rate cuts, at least initial reaction. I'm more concerned about the follow through after that. The next couple days, the next how does then October look? Because now you start getting CPI, and Jerome Powell said that he's not really even looking at inflation, which is wild. His main thing is jobs at this point. So then the CPI and PPI really count? I don't know. We're getting into some very interesting. It's like, and no one's really talking about it, but we're getting to some really interesting forward-looking data that I think right now we're just bullish everything and buy the dip everything. Although we had some pretty interesting fade trades yesterday on earnings. Otherwise, SPY is gapping down a little bit. You still are looking fairly healthy for the month, the week, the day, the daily chart. Look for some kind of support around 647.62. We did run into that yesterday, and we maybe could break it today, but otherwise you have your support there. Psychologically, I would be looking at yesterday's opening price, 647.25, and then on the way up, watch for that 648.79. I don't know. I got to think more about how I want to game plan for next week. I don't see it on the charts where we should be thinking maybe we could get a little bit weaker besides a little gap down today. So I don't really want to emergency buy some puts or start getting in the wrong way. I've been pretty good on staying away from puts, and when I've been buying them within the next day or two, they've been hitting, and then I've been just quickly clearing out and moving on. I don't know if I want to do that yet. I don't think the timing is right, but I am very, very concerned. We got the Qs gapping down. Again, still above yesterday's opening price, so we're still hanging out. That would be if we combine so far, just that open today, today's open and yesterday's candle. There is a little bit of a bigger wick to the bottom, or to the top. You got 577.42 would be today's resistance. Prior to that, we really should have been holding 575.08. So look for that for some kind of a smaller resistance. If we get above it, then we're probably getting to the close to the highs of the day, or worst case 576.58. We'll see. To find a little bit of support, our first one comes in right around that open, which is 573.92, and then if we make it back here, 573.33, we've been there yesterday. Maybe that could break, but that would be my support. If it does break, a better looking support would be 571.92. So we'll see. Bitcoin, BTC, USD, not looking not looking that impressive, down almost $2,000. However, retesting into that 109.44 zone. Didn't quite make it all the way there, but you have a little retest. Where my concern would be right now for Bitcoin, it's open all day, so we got plenty of time for this to change. My one red flag for right now, besides just being a red candle, is that VPOC. I want that VPOC to move up higher. So we need that volume to start coming in somewhere else, close at or above it, and then that looks a little bit more, I would say, double bottomish. So we'll see how that plays out. But that volume, the VPOC has to move up a little bit higher, or it looks like essentially we're putting in a little bit of a new lower low, and that would take Bitcoin down. Uh, well, we still got some support down here, but I think the next target would be like 108.219, and then maybe into like this 106.923 over the weekend. So not that crazy on Bitcoin for today, according to CNBC. Anyway, depends on the 10-year response. The 10 years not the 10 years not been looking good in terms of bonds. The short term bonds, treasuries, those rates I would expect to come down. But everything that else I mentioned of like that's all longer term outlook. And I think the bond market is kind of a little bit picking up on that as well, where you're not really seeing the massive drops in the 10 year and the 20 year. You got Hood, so I think there's still some concern in bond land as well, treasuries. You got Hood is not looking too fantastic today. We'll see where this one opens. You're kind of at a spot you're slightly below, which I don't like, but I want to get this thing back above 103.07. That would say that we might be hanging in. You got yesterday's VPOC is 103.46. So that for right now is my resistance until we get through it, and then you got like 104.50. Other than that, not a fantastic open. Psychologically, from this candle from Wednesday, you're still at that closing price. Maybe a little battle there. Otherwise, I think I like it to the short side, 101.92. You have a little bit of room to the downside on that one. If we get some crazy selling, who knows? We haven't seen it this month or besides April, we haven't really seen anything crazy. But you got $100.32, I think would be your next target for Hood. It's already kind of high on the list, so that's perfect. PLTR. Interesting candle yesterday. We were just still choppy, but you got a little mini hammer. I did like the close of that price. Right now we're just opening at yesterday's support. So the Bulls had some decent effort yesterday. Fantastic close. They tried. Market makers are saying, no way, don't do it. Pull back, but you are opening at support. This might be one if you want to stick with that bullish direction, which was sentiment yesterday. And all of this is just pretty much ending in a retest, but you did have a nice little wick pile through. Anytime you get those big wicks, you get those decent sized follow through candles. Maybe it's today, but this is a gap and go to the downside. Watch that support. Watch right around 156.76. If that starts to break, you have a little bit more room to 156.13, and we've been through that a lot. Kind of easy to break that one. Next target to the lower side, 153.28. There's a couple other spots over here, but all of that's been messed with multiple times. And I think this 153.33 becomes a little bit easier too. So that's going to be a very important support at open. For right now, I'd be leaning to the bull side. If that support could hold, maybe we just get chop day and we're just high end of today is 157.78. Other than that, um, yeah, I think you really want to hold some of these levels over here. If we can't do it, I'd be a little bit more bearish than bullish on Palantir. But for right now, it is hanging in there. We got Nvidia. Nvidia is a little bit of a high wave indecision candle. Also opening into a little bit of support. We've been there yesterday. You also have support from the 20 EMA. My guess would be inside day. It is a retrace gap. I think I'd want to lean to the bull side. I'll know very, very quickly on this one if I should change my mind. That would be if we start getting candles that close below 178.14. Again, I don't know how much room. Next psychological level is that low of the day. Also matches up with a pretty good VPOC. So next target to the downside, 176.60. We've been there before. Maybe that pulls us to like 174.83. For the bullish case for today, I'm looking for targets into 180.38. And if we open how we look now, I would be leaning a little bit more bullish again. Probably have to be relatively quick on this one as well, just because it's either going to hold that support and bounce strong, or we're in for a little bit of selling. We got CELH. Celsius, nice little gap up on this one. Not from earnings. Did they have news? Ooh, that's a big one. Celsius Holdings will acquire Rockstar Energy from Pepsi, which will integrate Celsius, Alani new brands. Pepsi also raised. That's a good move. Rockstar, I feel like people like. I think I had a Rockstar once in my life. I almost had to drive myself directly to the emergency room as I was drinking it. It was awful. I'm not a fan, but people do like it. People like the Rockstar drink. They do have a decent brand name too, but you run into a little resistance on this one. You got some volume, long-term volume, otherwise really good gap. Maybe squeezing some shorts out. With the amount of buying into this before this little tiny pullback, I think maybe you got some profit taking. Look for see if this one wants to pull back to like 62.08, but I'd be okay trying to take a high wave break on that candle too if we don't get that retrace. You might be squeezing a couple of bears on out of there. There was a bear at some point that said this thing is not pulled back and just ran like crazy. I'm going to take the bear side, and they are wrong today. They got proven wrong pretty quickly. CRM. CRM is a pretty decent retest gap. It is gapping. Kudos to the bulls getting it above the opening price from August 1st. So if you sat there for the entire month of August, you are finally, if you were the one that said, I'm going bullish CRM right at open on August 1st, you still figured out how to end a month positive, sitting through what looked like a little bit of a nightmare. So maybe you get some bulls that want to take some of that gain, look for pretty decent support, 255.09. First little resistance on this one, 256.54. If CRM does a wild day today, I see it maybe looking at a 260.12, but I'm gonna need that retest first. I think monthly bulls just got bailed out on that one. Let's see, we got MSTR. MSTR gapping down below the 200. I'm absolutely hating this gap for the bulls. One, I mean, we're gonna have a couple little supports. We've been through this multiple times. That was our support. The next one, I don't even see support. So I'd say if this thing can get bought up, because we are in a downtrend, it is a retest gap from yesterday. Look for a resistance. I think a heck of a resistance somewhere around 338.34. We know crypto, where Bitcoin struggling a little bit today. I would try to figure out how to get into this thing bearish for today. You have a little bit of other support right around 325.51. We've been there before too, so maybe we get down to like 317.88. Something to that effect. So we'll see if that plays out. That looks rough though. That looks rough underneath that 200. And again, we'll see where today closes. If they do something crazy, they get us back above that 200, but this would be our first, not the first open. Technically, this day was August 22nd, the first day we opened below that 200. Bulls furiously ran this thing back. Maybe that happens again. I don't like the sentiment that now we're closing or we're opening below 200 plus the last time the Bulls tried to make a stance. So I think that looks all weak. We got DELL. Dell Technologies. That should be trapping some bulls. Again, also kind of looks a little weak. Earnings came out, not really that bad. You got they beat by 1.24%. Earnings per share. I don't know what the guidance was, but revenue came in 759 million. Surprise beat on earnings. Other than that, we've had a good run up into the earnings. The last time we had earnings was we were sitting around probably 111. So that is a healthy move into the last earnings, even though they came in with a beat. It's probably priced to perfection, and we probably want to pull down a little bit. Um, for a day trade basis, I don't know. I'd probably sit this one. Yeah, I'd probably sit this one out. It does look weak. It is a gap and go. I think your room to the downside, your first little bit is 123.36. If you have a phenomenal short trade, 121.81 would be my final target. There's a lot of room for that fade, and you are sitting at some close to support. So I would probably sit Dell out. I'm gonna move this one. We'll watch it. Um, you got more. I think it's definitely bearish, but you have a little bit more room on that fade trade than anything else. And I think that's. I wouldn't be shocked if Dell goes up higher. I don't know. That seems rough. Tesla. Tesla is chilling for now. It is gapping up slightly. Looks a little different than the rest of the market, a little bit. Um, I wish the gap was a little bit higher. I wish this gap was taking us somewhere above 347.15. Otherwise, first resistance on this one is about 346.90. Just eyeballing this, this looks like about a 23% retracement from the lows to the high of that last move. So I don't really get great risk reward just buying up here. If it comes down a little bit more, I think a healthy spot to be interested in buying dip somewhere around 338.31. Um, I would be leaning short, I think, on this one. Short until we break out of that last support or resistance. So if we can get above 347.15, that would be that would be my sign of like, okay, maybe we go higher and want to retest this 351. But for right now, I'd have to be leaning to the short side of this one, opening right into that resistance. We'll see. We'll see how that one wants to play out. Let's see. We got Dell Hims. And then we got Affirm and Baba. Yep, take a look at those. Hims is chilling for now. Yeah, inside candle. Yesterday was a down day. You're kind of still at the lower end of that. I don't know. I think you got resistance maybe about 44, 43. If you break through that, you got yesterday's VPOC 44.57. I'm looking at support 43.98. I don't know if this one is. I could see this one in a longer term. I was looking at this chart yesterday, actually. In a longer term sense, I could see us pulling back one more time, coming in for a retest right around here, and then we start to bounce. But I don't know if today's the day. I think unless the market does something crazy, but I think we just chop around for today. I could also make a case too if we start breaking above like 45, 40-ish, that would be a sign that we're just gonna chop here. There's not even capitulation. There should be more volume on this. So I think we're just kind of in a do nothing state. It is down a lot, but almost need some kind of catalyst to move this one, I think, for today. But we don't have that catalyst quite yet. It is a gap and go, still inside day from yesterday. Let me check out Affirm. Affirm had a little bit of a wild earnings yesterday. They got smoked right right out of the gate, and then that dip got bought up pretty quickly. So earnings were good. They beat by 61.91% earnings per share. They came in with an extra 4.7% on revenue, which is 39.38 million. So I'm not really sure why we got absolutely clobbered on on Affirm as the earnings were coming out, but whoever bought the dip on that is very, very happy for today. Already again, big move, no volume. I gotta go to the weekly. I'm not sure whether we have weekly volume. Nope. It's too new still for the weekly candles. Um, Nothing really holding us back in terms of the longer term volume. All I have to go off of is this is a big, massive gap. Look for the next target to the high side, maybe somewhere around $99.28. And that's also going to run you into a good psychological hole number. I think if this one can come up a little bit higher, I'd have to look for a fade. I think this is a decent run up into these earnings. There is some bulls that are absolutely drenched in sweat watching the earnings come out yesterday, just sweating profusely. Why is my trade not going up? And maybe they feel kind of lucky for today. But yeah, I don't think I could touch it in the bull direction. The only thing I can really do is probably try to look for a fade. for me, and this market's pretty unforgiving for bears. So not sure that I take it, but we'll get this one higher. And if we could see a interesting short setup, kind of what was that stock? MBD. Oh, M Mongo Database, MDB. Could have some kind of effect like that, where you still get that run up. We sat there, traded sideways for a while, and then got that continuation. I don't know. Kind of see almost something similar to it. I just can't take advantage of that. I don't know. It's tough. All right, let's see. We got Iran. Iran is pretty much taking over. They are uh, they are the leaders, or they will be powering, I think is the words they used. Put out a press statement. They are going to be powering the AI of Bitcoin and using clean energy to do it. Besides, I don't know if the press statement could have been any more of just let's go bullish on the stock because it's got every keyword in it possible. The only thing that they could have done that would have been maybe better is just say just buy our stock, and the algos probably would have loved it. But yeah, it's up massive. You're not too far from all-time highs, 28, 27. Really no resistance. This has been bought up. I think this is a fade candidate for me. But let's add this one to the list. Iran. All hype. All hype. Earnings. Okay, not bad on earnings. They beat by 47%. So from expected, they came in with 267% higher. They did lose 1.6, not lost, but they missed by 1.61 million. But it was all the press conference on that one. Be careful. You got Autodesk, ADSK. You guys are telling me it is up big, and you are not lying to me. No, that is a big move for Autodesk. Also approaching all-time highs, it looks like. Nope, not all-time highs, but next little pivot, that one's going to sit at 321.45. There might be a couple levels in between, somewhere around 320. We'll put this one higher on the list, but yeah, that's a big move. Clearing some multiple pivots, a lot of pivots, getting above some major volume. That's already again a big price and move. How much more in it does it have? That's the question. And I don't know. I don't know if I want to chase it up there or wait for some kind of pullback, which I'd rather do. Really a pullback to like 249.89. I don't know if that happens today, but other than that, that is the morning bell. Keep in mind it is the last trading day of the month. Control yourself. If you're up, do you have to get crazy? I don't think so. Other than that, you guys are awesome. I'll catch you guys again. We're not here on Monday. I'll catch you guys in YouTube land on